Greetings, I'm Kathy Green with Christian News and Interviews. From time to time, I run into an article, excuse me, that leaves me just with the reaction of shaking my head. There are times when all I can do when I read certain articles is shake my head and hunch my shoulders. And unfortunately, this is one of those articles where I shake my head and I hunch my shoulders. Check this out. A series of racially charged notes left in mailboxes in the Brookmont subdivision led to charges against a resident of the community. Residents of Manning Drive began receiving the notes last December from a person who claimed to be a white male member of the Ku Klux Klan who threatened to burn down their homes and kill them, according to detectives with the Douglasville Police Department. Instead, their investigation led them to Terresha Lucas, a 30-year-old African-American female who was charged with 8 counts of making terroristic threats this month. Accused of writing and placing the notes on her neighbor's boxes, Lucas allegedly described herself as a 6 feet tall white male with a long red beard who did not live in the neighborhood. Detectives Nathan Shoemaker and Andre Fuchs worked the case, which garnered television news coverage March the 4th on CBS 46 News, when an alarmed resident called the station about a note he received. Police Chief Dr. Gary Sparks said their persistence and dedication were major factors in solving the case. Our investigators had the drive to stick with the case and see it all to the end, Sparks said. That's what we're all about, and this reflects the professionalism and integrity of the department. They stayed with it and put in a lot of hours. Let's see if there's anything else on this. I want to skip down a little bit. After the first couple of notes were received, Shoemaker and Fuchs went door to door to check doorbell cameras and gather whatever information they could from the residents. Shoemaker said they also walked the neighborhood several times and handed out flyers to residents. By mid-March, we really didn't have anything to go on, Shoemaker said. However, he and Fuchs determined that the letters had similar handwriting, tone, and verbiage, with some distinctive letters that were consistent throughout. They received the break they needed on Labor Day, September the 6th, when evidence was found linking the notes to the house of Terresha Lucas. Detectives were able to gather enough evidence to obtain a search warrant. I'm going to, let's see if there's anything else that may be of interest, but regarding this case. Well, she's supposed to turn herself in. Lucas was charged with 8 counts of making terroristic threats and is expected to turn herself into jail this week. The motives of her actions remain a mystery. About 5 years ago, I came home from work and went into my mailbox to check my mail. And there was a note in there from a man in my neighborhood somewhere. He told me that he had determined that my husband and I were one of the neighbors of hundreds who were shining lights into his home. And he said, if I'm sending this note to you in error, I apologize. However, my research has shown that you and your husband, you're one of the neighbors who's shining lights into my home. Please stop. To make a long story short, this man had sat down and one by one he had handwritten hundreds of these letters, and he passed them out to various neighbors. This woman, Terresha Lucas, didn't write one letter and make copies of it. She sat down and wrote heaven knows how many letters by hand. The man in my neighborhood who did something similar to this was off his meds. I don't know Terresha Lucas. I don't have any information on her. But if you're listening, Miss Lucas, if you're on meds, please take them. That's all.